Good afternoon everyone, and welcome to our online tutorial on our new and improved analysis product. Today's webinar has two presenters, myself, Philippa Hare, RHA Head of Sales, and Joe Colasurdo, RHA Analysis Development Manager. We're recording the session today and we'll send you a link to the recording later this week so you can watch it again and share it with other people in your teams. We're delighted that you've joined us today on this demo of our new and improved analysis. We work tirelessly to make sure that our product is market leading and suits all of your needs as a haulier. If you have any questions relating to anything we cover in today's session, please feel free to ask us right away. You can do this at any time by writing it in the questions tab on the control panel. Right, that's it from me at the moment, so on to the reason why we're all here. Over to you, Joe, to demonstrate the new features.
Thank you, Philippa. And good afternoon, and thanks for joining us today for the webinar of the RHA Analysis relaunch for the new platform that will go live on November the 14th. That's Tuesday next week. Today we've broken some records with the amount of users on a single webinar session. What's really interesting looking at the companies we have here today is there are all types of operators with us, with fleet sizes ranging from owner drivers to 400 vehicle operators and everything in between. So thanks for your time today. I hope you find this useful. I think the numbers of attendees today says a lot about RHA Analysis. The challenge was to have the best tachograph product on the market, a product which gave value for money, and above all, the facility to easily satisfy the authorities. We believe we have got this now, and the way we have achieved this is by engaging with our members. Your feedback has been invaluable, so please keep it coming. It does really help. We've completely rewritten RHA Analysis. I don't want to go into the technical stuff, but what that means is RHA Analysis is quicker, has greater reliability, and far more advanced processing power. The objective today is to update our customers with the changes we have made to RHA Analysis. Let's dive right in. Time is precious and we have lots to show you. What you are looking at right now is RHA Analysis in its current format. On November the 14th, we are rolling out a global launch. When you log into RHA Analysis following the update, this is what you will see. Instantly, you can see the obvious changes with the design and color scheme. The icons here are larger in comparison and are linked to the same areas as RHA Analysis currently does. I like the look of it, and I hope you guys do too. But it's all about the intelligent functionality where we have made massive progress. There are two main changes on the portal page. As you can see, we now have a toolbar at the top. And if you click on RHA Analysis, a drop-down menu will appear. This allows easy access to navigate the website. One of the features is RHA Document Storage, which is a new feature. This allows the user to scan a document which will be electronically stored on our server. A great tool for minimizing the use of hard copies typically used in a transport office. You can store any documents you like. The most popular documents to scan would be driving licenses, signed infringement debrief forms, printouts from tachos, and defect reports. If you want to upload a new document, you simply click here on the upload new document icon. And then basically it's a case of following the prompts. So at the top here we've got date, so we can select this icon and tell us what date it is. We've got a drop-down menu which allows us to select a driver, and then we have the vehicle registrations, and then we have tags. So what this is basically telling us what this document refers to. And as you can see, we've got this drop-down menu populated already. So for this exercise, I'm just going to click on example, and then select files, which will allow you to browse your hard drive, clicking on open and then upload file. On the left-hand side, we have a filter option. This will allow you to search all documents which you've uploaded. So you can search between dates, or you can put in a document name. So if it contains a certain wording, you can just type it in here. Or if it's linked with the following, driver or vehicle, and again, we can just pull out any documents which represent any of these on the drop-down list. So if I wanted to amend what's on this list, it's very simple. You click on Add Edit Text, Tags, add a new record, type in the text here, and click Update. And then when we upload a new document, it will be on this list. The reason I wanted to show you RHA Document Storage first is because later in the session I will demonstrate how to add a document to a driver calendar screen, which is another very useful way of using RHA Document Storage. So now we're going back to the main menu. So if I click on the RHA logo here, wherever you are on the website, you can click here and it will take you back to the portal screen. I'm going to click on RHA View, which is the dashboard facility. I've deliberately left this blank as I'm going to show you how to build a dashboard. So the dashboard allows me to see the most important information at a snapshot. On the left hand side there is a plus symbol, so if I just click here, it will bring up the Add Widget function. The drop down menu allows you to view all widgets available. We're going to be taking a look at points per duty. It's a brand new widget and it's just at the bottom here, points per duty. I've got further options, so if I wanted to build this widget for specific fleet, I'll uncheck that box and your fleet names will be listed here. And also the additional parameters. So here we've got 3 options. I can build this widget for month to date, last month, or year to date. So I'm going to select year to date. So underneath here, as you can see, it says exclude agency vehicles, and I just wanted to tell you what that meant. Basically, this will eliminate all driver duties for which they have worked for another company. The software is looking for driver data which marries up to your vehicle registration to determine your true infringement score as a percentage. So we click on Create Widget. Okay, so this widget is showing me the company name. Usually the company name would be here, but the demo account, it says Demo 1. The number of duties, so as we've got the parameter of year to date, we can see that we've got 4,960 duties here. The number of infringements, so we've got 891 infringements. How many points tallied so far this year? And just to explain what the point system is, for those of you who don't know or don't use it, the point system is a separate KPI inbuilt functionality. It allows operators to have an in-house policy whereby each infringement is worth a certain amount of points, which is configurable. Therefore, if a driver gets so many points within a time frame, disciplinary action is taken. If you're interested in using the point system, let us know and we can help you get this set up. The next cell is a breakdown of the points per duty. And the following one is committed. Okay, so committed is basically when a debrief has been completed and following a driver's signature, the transport manager clicks on a button called commit. And this means the record can never be altered. A very useful facility for disciplinary procedures. We also have a new feature which allows us to manipulate the size of the widget. So I'm going to shrink this down here. And by selecting the settings button on the right hand side, I'll be able to change the parameter. So I can select settings and I can have a look at the details for last month, update widget, and then the widget populates to show you that I've got 534 duties last month and how many infringements and a breakdown of the percentages. I'm going to create another points per duty widget, and this one is going to be month to date, and I click on create. And the reason I've done this is to show you how you can have a side-by-side comparison. This is a great addition to RHA View. I hope you find this useful. We've had many requests for this one. The other new widget is the vehicle checks not carried out. So again, we click on the plus symbol on the left-hand side, click on vehicle checks not carried out, and obviously we've got more parameters, so we can put in here what fleets, what categories, and we can enter the number of days that we're looking at. So I'm going to leave this on 1, and we're going to select the template that the driver's been using. So it's the basic vehicle checks. Click Create Widget. And this is showing us all the vehicle registrations that I have not received a defect report for so far. So for the customers using the RHA Defect app, we've been working on integration, and this widget is certainly useful for managing the defect reporting process digitally. So if you're wondering what to have on the dashboard, it's really your preference. However, there's some obvious ones I would certainly include. So again, clicking on the plus symbol, I'm going to be clicking on the driver's worst offenders, and we can change the reporting parameters. I'm going to be looking at the last 30 days, so just change that there. And as you can see now, we've got the league table of the driver's worst offenders. If we click on that, it will give us a breakdown of what rule was broken. Obviously, if you're managing your driver's worst offenders, that will really improve your infringement percentage quickly. The next one I'm going to be looking at is the working time directive. Okay, so I'm just going to add that on here. Click Create Widget, and as you can see there, you've got the reference period, drivers' names, and all drivers are under 48 hours. So that's good. And then we can just build and add exactly what we want. Another popular one would be the vehicle overdue and driver overdue. So this is the vehicle overdue download, and I could put the parameter in there. So if I'm doing my downloads on a monthly basis, I want to see all vehicles which haven't been downloaded for more than 30 days. Select Create. And as you can see, I've just built myself a dashboard here. I could add and remove any ones I want. Put the driver card over there, download driver cards on a weekly basis, so I'll change that to 7. So it's totally your choice of what you have on the dashboard, and each widget has a settings button which will allow you to configure this. And I just wanted to say that if you don't use the point scoring system, that's really not a problem. The infringement percentage here is a really good indicator and useful to use as a KPI. Now we've explored RHA View and taken a look at how easy it is to build a dashboard, I want to move on to a hot topic in the industry, which is earned recognition scheme. DVSA earned recognition for vehicle operators is a new way to prove you meet driver and vehicle standards. You regularly share performance information with the DVSA, and in return, your vehicles are less likely to be stopped for inspection. It's a voluntary scheme that is designed to work for all operators of all sizes, offering operators the opportunity to demonstrate the level of compliance through the earned recognition scheme. RHA Analysis allows you to share tachograph data with the authorities in the format in which they require. So let's build an earned recognition report which will be available to all customers on November the 14th. By clicking on RHA Analysis and selecting Reports on the drop-down menu, this will quickly get us to the reporting screen. As you can see, it's the same format as the previous version with many enhancements applied. By clicking on Demo 1, where your company name would usually be, we can access the reporting pages. So the earned recognition falls within the site reports, and we click Select. And then the bottom right hand side is the earned recognition report. And then we simply click Generate. There is no option to enter a date criteria, as this is automatic. So here is the earned recognition report. There is a document which is on the DVSA website, which is worth reading. It specifies what each part of the report refers to. I'll simplify as best as I can. The data is broken up in 4 segments. So there's 9 boxes at the top, and then underneath there's a further 9 boxes, and so forth. Each represent a 4-week period. D1, D2, D3, and D4 refer to fixed penalties. D5 represents overall infringements. D6 is working time directive. D7 is repeat offenders. D8 is missing mileage. And D9 is most serious infringements. Without complicating things, the objective is to have all sales within this report showing green. On November the 14th, when your system is upgraded, run this report and have a look at what areas you need to work on. Maybe you'll consider the earned recognition scheme in the future following the pilot, and we would certainly help you through the process. If you choose to, your data would automatically be submitted to the DVSA. Your vehicle's not being inspected is a nice incentive. It's a fantastic scheme, and I'm sure there will be many questions surrounding earned recognition. We're going to be sending an email to all RHA Analysis customers with all the information you require, so watch this space. There's lots more to come with earned recognition. Moving on, I'm going to show you the brand new vehicle calendar. On the drop-down menu, you'll find the vehicle calendar just here. The vehicle calendar looks exactly like the driver calendar with similar functionality, which is what our customers have been asking for. There is a search bar which allows you to search for vehicle registrations here, making it quick and easy to access a specific vehicle. Or search by categories by clicking on this button on the left-hand side. You can alter the date period at the top right, or navigate by week, month, or year using the buttons on the right and left-hand side, just here. If we click on the legend, it will tell us exactly what the symbol and color coding mean within each cell. This will help to familiarize yourselves with the driver calendar, with the vehicle calendar. Okay, so what can we do with the vehicle calendar? Firstly, we can click on a cell and we can say where the vehicle was. So, for example, the vehicle was off-road for 3 days. We just change the number there. We click Add, close this down. We have now symbols in these cells which represent that the vehicle was off-road in that period. So if we click on a cell and there's already data which has been populated from the vehicle unit data or the driver's card, we'll be able to see a menu on the left-hand side. we can navigate through this menu to tell us exactly what's happened on that day. One part that we've been really focusing on is obviously the RHA defect checks. So I'm just going to show you how we can see a defect report on the system. So as you can see, there's a symbol there with a tick in it. If I click that, we'll quickly see here that there's a defect check that's been done. It will show us if it's a pass, advisory, or a fail, the name of the driver, the template, if there are any images, time taken for this report. And if we click on view, we'll be able to see a report that the driver has done with the signature. The next section is the chart section, so I'm just going to find another duty. Click on the same one here. So click on charts. So this is giving us the start and end date of the duty, the name of the driver, and by clicking on view, we can really break down and drill into the duty and see exactly what's happened on that day. There's a visual display on the left-hand side, which gives us the total drive time, other work, POA, and brake. We've got the mode switches in the middle section here, and on the right-hand side, we've got the accumulative drive time, other work, and so forth. Also, if there was an infringement on this record, it would be shown on here. And at the bottom, we do have a timeline of another visual display. And by clicking on these buttons here, you can determine what you see on this. So red is brake, so I can see that the driver has brakes periods just there. So the infringements, if you just wanted to see what the infringement was for, when you look at the vehicle calendar, the cell the cells which are in red is where we have an infringement. You can either click on the explanation mark just here, which will take us directly to the infringement, or when you click on a cell, it will be the fourth option at the bottom. So here we can quite clearly see that there's the start date, the end date, and what the infringement relates to. So in this case, it's a 4.5-hour rule infringement. We can also see debriefs. Debriefs would be highlighted in green. And we also have now events and faults, which will allow you to see, for example, things like if a vehicle has been operated without a driver's card. And also, as I mentioned earlier, the new documents storage, the facility to upload a document to any cell. It's very simple, same process as before. But the difference is we've got the button here on the upload documents. We can select a driver, select a vehicle, we can put in a tag, so if this is a till roll or whatever it is, and then you can select the file. So now we're going to be taking a look at resource management. So from the drop-down menu towards the bottom here, I'm going to select Resource Manager. Resource Manager is a fantastic facility to manage your database. It's really important to do some housekeeping and update your drivers who no longer work for you, and also removing the vehicles from your fleet. This section has been completely rewritten, giving us an easy to use menu, and on the left hand side I'm going to run you through this so you can understand what it's for. As you can see, it always opens up in drivers. Give you a management tool here, which will allow you to carry out various tasks. So by selecting different options on this menu, will alter what you see in the main page. Okay, so I'm going to start with drivers. So, for example, if I wanted to remove a driver from the database, I can click on this column just here and select this checkbox. We've got search bars, so if you wanted to find a specific driver, just simply type the driver's name in there. And then if I click on edit, I'll be able to add very useful information for the driver just here. It also gives us options to put this driver into an agency category or one of your depots. So I'm just going to move on to match drivers. If I have a driver on the system twice, I can merge the drivers together using this tool. This generally happens when a driver spells his name differently on an analog chart to how it's spelled on the digital card. So it's a simple case of just selecting the driver, and then we can match and reassign to anything on this drop-down list. Driver categories. This is the area where we can build a category. It's very simple to use. We can click on add, type in the depot name, and click save. And then if I wanted to put a driver in a category, I would go back to the drivers section, click on edit, and then I can put him in any category which is available. So it's very simple to move drivers within different depots. So the next one is the driver agencies. It's the same principle for adding categories for agency drivers. Just simply click add. And then just here we've got vehicles. Within this section, it's been made even easier to manage your vehicles. Search bars at the top, or scroll down on the right hand side. So the main purpose of this is if you remove a vehicle from your fleet, you want to show it as inactive, we can select this check these boxes just here, and then it will populate the inactive date. We can put in a reason and a description. And then just at the end here, can you see this edit button? If we select that there, we've got various different options. So again, we can categorize vehicles, and then we can put in extra details of the vehicle here. There's also a menu for on the left hand side where we can input some maintenance dates and further information about excluding a vehicle from the system. And then obviously, yeah, we've got vehicle categories. So again, it's the same principle. We can just put in a category, go back to vehicles, and then if we wanted to put that in a category, we'll just select there. Okay, so what I wanted to show you really was the charts for unknown drivers. So there's been lots of questions surrounding unaccounted mileage. So what we are looking at here is where we can see all the movements of the vehicles without a driver's card. Okay, so if you click on the sort function just here, we can see from highest to lowest. So for example, if a driver's card is lost, stolen or malfunction, then legally the driver can operate the vehicle if the correct procedures have been followed. Contacting the DVSA and printouts of the before and after the shift. However, to remove the movement from the reports, we can simply select this movement and allocate it to the driver. To do this, simply select the movement here on the reassign button and then select the driver's name. This functionality is really helpful when dealing with unaccounted mileage. These three functions are predominantly aimed at analogue, which RHA support generally pick up the administrative work for these sections. So I'm not going to go through these functions, as we have most customers online today don't operate analogue vehicles. Okay, so that concludes the RHA Analysis new update demo. Obviously, RHA Analysis has many more functions, but the objective today was to show you the most exciting new features. I hope you found this useful. And we're going to go through some questions now, so over to you, Philippa.
Thank you, Joe. That was fantastic, and I hope everybody found it really, really helpful. We have had some questions come in whilst you've been presenting. If anybody else wants to ask a question, now is your chance. So please write your questions in the questions box and we'll aim to get them answered as quickly as we can. One question that's already come in is, could we send over a copy of this webinar afterwards? And yes, we will be aiming to get this out to you hopefully before the weekend. So, first question, Joe. Would the red KPI on the earned recognition report prompt a DVSA visit to the operator?
Okay, so at the moment, the pilot scheme that the DVSA are carrying out is it's not set in stone yet. So we don't know all the answers to the questions. One thing we do know is that when we start the initial process for earned recognition, we will carry out an audit on site. When your data is submitted to the DVSA, following, and if anything is highlighted in red, from my understanding is that they would work with you to help you achieve, to change that to green. And we would certainly help you too.
Thank you. So next question, how do we carry out instant infringement printouts after the driver has downloaded after a shift?
Okay, so if you want to print out a legal document to capture a driver's signature, then I would say the best way to do that is build a D14 report. So it's very simple to do. You just go onto the drop-down menu here, select reports, select the driver, okay, and then we will select on the right hand side is called the period tachograph infringement report, and then we just select the day. So for example, I know I've got an infringement there on the 6th of November, so I'm going to select that day and then select generate. So then we've got some reporting parameters. At the bottom here, if we select drivers with average points per duty more than 0.001, what that actually means is I only want to see infringements only. So that will filter out all the information that you don't need. And here we can see a report for the driver, his duty, vehicle registration, the start-end auto reading, mode switches, average speed. But then we've got the rule that he's broken here, so 4.5 hour infringement. And then we've got the working time at the bottom and the possible fixed penalties. So like I said, that would be the best way to do a print off of the infringement.
Next question then, how long will the old version of Analysis work for?
The old version will be upgraded on the 14th of November. This means that as soon as RHA Analysis is updated, you won't be able to access the old version. However, don't worry, we are offering plenty of help and assistance. If you feel you'd like some online training, please contact RHA support, who will be at hand to help you. In most cases, we believe by using the system, you will quickly familiarise yourself with the changes. We are only one phone call away if you need us.
Why does it take so long to return analog charts?
Once we've received your analog charts, our bureau take 7 to 10 working days on average to process before data is uploaded and viewable. We aim to turn the charts around within 5 working days. In some instances, as this is a manual process, analog charts sometimes does take longer. However, if you experience extended waiting times for the return of your analog charts, please get in contact with us, as we rarely have any complaints from analog customers.
And is there a way to explain infringements when the card has been uploaded?
Okay, so what I would say, the best way to view an infringement straight away, so this is not building a report, this is actually going into the charts page. So from my understanding of that question is, if a driver is challenging you and saying, okay, I don't quite agree with that infringement, the best thing to do is drop down menu here, let's go to charts, select the driver's name, and then straight away we can see the duties, and highlighted in red is where the infringements took place. So say for example we will use this one on the 6th of November. At the bottom of the screen we can see that he's got 2 infringements. So he's got a 4.5-hour rule infringement and he's got a working time directive infringement. On the mode switches we can see where these infringements took place. So one represents the first infringement, so we've got a red line here. So what I'll do is I'm going to select this area, and then what you'll see is on the right hand side we can see the driver, he drove for 4 hours and 31 minutes, other work for 1 hour and 58, and no break. Okay, so by doing this it's quite easy to show a driver that this break at 10:49 did not count. After that break he drove for 4 hours and 31 minutes. So that would be the best way to explain an infringement. And as there's another infringement on here, we've got working time directive infringement. So yeah, I'm going to highlight this the top section. So we look at this separate rule. So working for more than 6 hours without a valid break. So as you can see on the right hand side, his drive time, his other work, yeah, breaks none, and the total time was, the working time was 6 hours and a half. So yeah, again, that break didn't count, and that's the best way to show a driver their infringement.
Thank you, Joe. 2 very similar questions. Will we still get automated reports after the upgrade, and will the automated reports set up on the old system continue on the new system?
100%. Yeah, I'm glad you've actually asked that question, because that's something that I hadn't covered off, which we just want to make sure that everybody is fully aware that all the automated reports that you've got and have always been getting won't change. That is something that we've made sure that won't be affected with the change. So yeah, please don't worry about any automated reports. They'll all come through just as they do every week, fortnightly or month. There is a separate section now for automated reports, making it really easy to manage your automated reports. And I've just got another question here saying, does the infringement debrief form still exist? Of course, yeah, the debrief section is still available on the drop-down menu there, and it's just instead of it being a separate icon on the top of the screen, it's just here.
And can our customers still access their own raw data?
No, not at the moment. We can give access to customers to access their raw data if they need it. You know, in some scenarios where the DVSA would ask you for 3 months, 6 months, or a year worth of raw data files, the usual process is a customer would contact us and ask us for the files, and we'd put them, we'd send them as a zip file. But there are some scenarios where customers specifically ask for their raw data files to be available, and if that's the case and you do need that, we can make an option available here where a separate button would allow you to access your raw data files. But there really is no need to have access. We'd always provide you that data if you need it, but yeah, if you need it, let us know.
Thank you, Joe. One of our listeners has asked, they've created categories for their drivers. Will they be automatically created in the categories list in the new version, or will they have to be set up again?
Another good question. Yeah, you won't have to rebuild your database. So the categories on the existing database, so RHA Analysis in its current format, will be mirrored when the upgrade goes live. So there is really nothing to worry about in terms of all your categories and all your drivers within the right section. That's all going to be done for you, okay?
And can we set our own reference periods?
Yeah, you can. You just have to tell us what reference period you're working with. Generally, it's a 26-week reference period or a 17-week. Yeah, if you've got different dates that are on the system, yeah, let us know, and of course we will change the reference period for your working time directive.
Thank you. Are unallocated drivers vehicles still shown as unallocated on the main screen?
Unallocated drivers, it's really your responsibility to manage your database, okay? So if we're using categories and you have drivers fall in the unallocated drivers section, it's just a case of making sure that we do something with them, because as you can see here, if I'm using the drivers, just a second. So yeah, so if I'm using categories and I can see 48 unallocated drivers, then really I should be doing something with those drivers and allocating them into the right categories.
Another question, do we need the Defect app to make vehicle checks not carried out work and get the reports?
Yes, this is a separate functionality built for the RHA Defect app. We've obviously been doing a lot of integration, and by using the app, when you press submit, the database, the RHA Analysis will be populated and you'll be able to view all your defect records. So it is really advisable, you know, having a look at what we have to offer. But unfortunately, no, with the current defect reporting procedure, the only way to probably use RHA Analysis with a hard copy version is through the RHA Document Storage, because you can scan in your hard copies, but yeah, that widget won't work with the hard copies version.
Thank you. Does the driver category that contains license details print reports of all drivers' expiry dates?
Yeah, there is a report we built. I remember building that recently. Basically, it looks for all the expiry dates for the licenses. It's a very quick way to have an understanding of which driver license are going to expire. If it's not available on your system, let us know, because I am aware we have built that report.
Thank you. Just a reminder, if you've got any more questions for Joe, please type them in now, and we'll try and get to answer them before we finish the webinar. So another question, can we print off infringement reports for the EU, the Working Time Directive and speeding separately?
No, unfortunately, you can't. We've deliberately done that, and the reason being is because an infringement report should include all the infringements, just regardless of what rule was broken. So, you know, like I said, from our point of view, it's done like that deliberately. There is a way of changing the sets of rules to exclude certain rules from reports, but yeah, when we've had recent requests. It's not something we would do, but yeah, if it's something you want to look at, we can talk to you about it. But no, in the current format, the answer is no, we don't do that.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you everybody for joining us today. We hope you found that really useful. As we said before, we have recorded it and we'll send it around for you to listen to again and to share with your teams if you need to. If you have any questions that you didn't get around to asking us or any feedback, please get in touch. Thank you and goodbye.